This is a map showing the upper part of the High Street. The junction with Salmon Street is at the top, and the mini island is just out of sight at the bottom. What you're about to see is a model of the High Street, reconstructed using old pictures, including buildings that have been demolished. The photographs used span many years, so the model can't be attributed to any one period, but it was certainly prior to 1970. Because we're going to approach the High Street from Ardmore Road, I'll turn the map around first, and then we can start the virtual tour. This is the High Street seen from Ardmore Road. The street appears cobbled or just compacted earth. The building on the immediate left was a plumber's, now the post office. And the sandstone building on the right was the stables for Brook House. Although the stable is gone, the left-hand wall is still there as the boundary wall to the Horns car park. What is now the off-licence was Tisdale's. The doorway on the left was to the house, the one in the centre was to the shop, and the one on the right to a separate property. Next to Tisdale's were 3 cottages which were demolished in the 1960s and replaced by the single-storey retail units. This is Mrs. Arkinstall's house. The 3 dormer windows were reduced to 1 when a new roof was fitted, and the windows either side of the door were fitted on the outside with these shutters. The Horns public house, and at this period detached from the building on the right. This is the butcher's shop of George Meadows, later run by Thomas Dean and then the Brooks family. The tall building next to the butcher's was taken down before 1915 when the infant school was built. Part of the stone wall on the right-hand side still exists. Some residents believe the property was called Grosvenor House. If so, then it could have belonged to the Grosvenor family, many of whom were wheelwrights, and may explain this very high archway. We now move down to the location of the post office from 1897 to 1959, over 60 years. This is Addison's grocery store, now the Co-op. Notice that the shop door is on the left and the entrance to the living accommodation is on the right. And to the right of it is George Allsop's workshop where he mended bikes. The property on the other side of the yard was Dick Hall's house. He was a blacksmith and his smithy was located at the rear at the top of what is now the supermarket car park. George Allsop used the room with the large bay window as a shop from where he sold bicycles. Up now to the White House, used for many years by the local doctors. The house with the bay window on the left was Daniel Meadows' butcher's shop, and the building on the right was once a Barclays Bank and then a chemist's shop. This was the Drapers, trading as George Sidebottom, Miss Fox, then Greens. And a look back along the High Street towards Ardmore. This picture shows how tall and narrow the High Street appeared before the buildings on the left were demolished. The first bay window on the left is now Annabelle's, the fruit and veg shop. And then comes the post office and the tall building right against the road, which has since been demolished. This is the small cottage which was removed to allow access to the rear of the adjoining premises. A closer look at the arch and the large house, and the grocer's belonging to Mr. Walwyn. Then the cottages which were replaced by the single-storey retail units. And finally, the current post office, which used to be Cotton's, then Grattage's. Both of them were plumbers.